I'm Tori and this is my 2016 Spectrospective video. I also participated in Spectrospective last year and found it to be an enjoyable experience, and I really enjoyed getting to see all the different things that people had to say and how they wove together. What I really like about the autism spectrum is the fact that we're all so unique, that we're all so different, we have different interests, different things to contribute, and I think if given the opportunity that all works together really, really well. The things that I like to do include playing board games, baking, listening to music, watching movies, reading, doing puzzles, all sorts of pretty normal things. I guess I'd say that I also interact with the world pretty normally. I have a full-time job. I work in the public service and have been doing that for about 3 years, ever since I finished uni. I find that my team accepts me for who I am, and they know that I can contribute just as well as everyone else, and that I have different strengths and weaknesses, but so does everyone else in the team as well. So, I'm willing to get in there and have a go, and sometimes I might need a little bit more guidance at the start of doing something to make sure that I understand what I'm being asked to do, but generally people feel like whatever I do is really well thought through, and that my logical way of thinking and my thorough way of approaching things can be really helpful. I think that how the world could be more autism friendly, and the one thing that I'd like to change would kind of be the same thing. I feel like if people were a bit more patient and kind and actually took the time to get to know people, we'd find a lot more interactions would be positive and a lot more relationships would just grow naturally. I sometimes feel like autism can mean a lot of missed opportunities in terms of friendships and relationships, because not everyone is willing to explore what those potentials are, and the possibility that someone who's on the spectrum might actually be a really good friend. We tend to really care about not upsetting people and generous and thoughtful, but the way that we sometimes express things or don't see another way that something could be taken can lead to people feeling like we might be a bit abrupt or a bit rude, or that we may not just be as interested. For instance, yesterday after work I got invited to go out to the pub and have a drink with some of my colleagues, and later on the person who asked me kind of commented that another person sort of said, yep, I'm in straight away, and that she felt like I took a bit longer to convince. When really, in my mind, I kind of said yes pretty much immediately. It's just the fact that she'd asked me to do something that I hadn't been expecting her to ask me to do took me a little bit longer to process. And that little bit longer it took me to process something actually changed how she perceived my response. Some of the things that other people can do to help support people on the autism spectrum is just taking the time to listen to them, to try and understand their perspective. If they're doing something that you don't think is quite right, or think means that they're not interested or don't want to do something, other than if they obviously actually say no, then take a couple of seconds and explore that a bit, because how they're coming across and what they're actually thinking and feeling can be quite different, and there's a lot of us out there that just want to be included and need a little bit more patience to be able to sort of operate in the same playing field as everyone else, and can end up feeling left out and isolated. Certainly with all the autistic people that I know, I don't know of anyone who intentionally means to be rude or standoffish. Sometimes we need time out or a break just because of executive functioning and being overloaded, and we've kind of got this inner conflict of we really, really want to go out and spend time with people, but at the same time, if we don't have time alone and recharge our batteries, then we can't cope with making breakfast in the morning, let alone going out to a noisy restaurant and having dinner with a bunch of people that we really like in a setting that really doesn't always suit us. Anyway, that's just a couple of my thoughts. And I'd just like to say that there's lots of autistic people out there, and I think if the world just becomes a little bit more open to operating at our pace a little bit more and giving us a chance to catch up before writing us off, then they'd really be surprised at the amazing, genuine, creative, inventive people that we have in our midst. Pretty meaningful percentage of the population, being about 1 in 100. That's larger than any other disability group. It's larger than a lot of ethnic groups. It's actually a really substantial group of people that perhaps haven't had the opportunity to come together and connect. Anyway, see ya!